All right. So, any questions from the show? Let's cover that right now in the first part of this here. Let's go over that. Walter, I'm not going to ask Babyface because he couldn't bother to watch. You know, he didn't even know. He didn't even text me. I knew he didn't watch because usually he would text me. That's how he is.
That was man. I was busy driving.
He sends me all his notes when he actually watches. He just like he tells me, "Oh, this is bullshit."
That was a good show. It was. I mean, you had some of the stars of the internet gun world on there, you know, or some of the ones that are most outspoken. So I think it went well. You know?
Okay. Was there a particular part that sticks out in your mind?
Well, the one time Eric was explaining something, he said nothing in the end. He just kept talking and nothing really. He never really said anything. But you know, that's just why some people are. Nothing against him.
Yeah, you know, I think Eric is an incredibly intelligent person. You know, I think that the accent and all those things makes people think that he's one of the most highly intelligent people I've met in this whole thing, and he does get very passionate. I think the drawback that we had with the chat is that he could only come in audio, so his internet was kind of terrible. Yeah. So that takes away something from the whole experience, right? Because with Mac or with Yankee Marshal or myself, you see us getting mad and wanting to say something or whatever, and with Eric, you know, you really didn't know.
All right. No, what I meant was he kind of kept talking and really didn't say a whole lot of anything in the end. And this one explanation he had. I wasn't the only person that noticed it too. Somebody else noticed it.
Okay. Do you remember what that was about in particular?
I forget, but he kind of was doing a loop. He was like in a loop. You know, sometimes you're trying to explain something and you end up right back where you started.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yep. I do it too sometimes. So
yeah.
Nothing bad on his part.
Well, and there's some things that happened there that you know, that maybe threw him off. I know that the thing that Yankee Marshal got into saying about Colin Noir, which I don't even really, you know, if you watched it, then you watched it. If you didn't, go watch it and you'll see. I don't want to get into that because I don't want to repeat it here. But he said something that I feel is derogatory about Colin Noir, and I try to back him off of it and explain to him that it wasn't cool. He didn't really want to back off of it. What I found out later is that he actually planned to say that the night before. Oh, so he was on his show. Yeah, he was on his show, and he told the folks on his show that he was going to come on here and get into all that.
Or something derogatory.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna have to go watch it. You guys are hyping this up. I'll watch it.
Yes, but you know, listen. For what I think, we can disagree with people, but we have to be careful where we get to the point that we're like taking down people that. You know, I mean, obviously they're on the wrong side and we disagree with them, but we don't have to start like attacking people's honor for no reason.
Don't get pulled into things. It's kind of like the shithole comment that got released. That was purposely said and released to draw people into a frenzy.
Yeah.
He says things to get people into a frenzy.
Yeah.
So don't get pulled into the frenzy. And because all you're doing is building him up.
Right. So. You always have to maintain your thing. Lola put some crazy assness here on the board. She says, but you are also not going to call folks outside their name. See, I don't know what the hell that outside their name. That's like an American thing, I guess, that I don't fully understand like what it means to call someone outside there. But I'm going to assume that it means, you know, calling people names.
You know, people say things just to get people riled up too. So
yeah. But what does the outside their name part mean? Do you even know what you're writing down, Lola?
I don't
Lola
know
just hears Lola, and Lola is worse than me, okay? Because her first language is not English, so she hears you all saying stuff, and then she's like, "Don't be calling me outside my name."
What's you saying you all to? Who you calling you all? Remember that controversy came up when you calling y'all people. What do you mean y'all people? You know
yeah. I mean? So, but here's the thing. I agree with you, Walter, in what you're saying. I think people say things to push buttons on you.
To get a reaction, yeah.
And Yankee Marshal is exactly like that. He obviously deliberately planned to say this thing with his audience. Right. So, and he said something that wasn't like, you know, I want you guys to realize that like, you're going to knock Eric. And I understand people knocking Eric, but here's something I have to tell you. Let me start here. In the 5 years that I've been doing this thing in the gun world, there's very few people that have actually stood up for me and helped me do what I'm doing. Very few people. Hickok 45 never did it. Such never did it. A whole bunch of people I could go down the line and tell you they never did shit for me. As a matter of fact, there's people that actually did the opposite of that. But one person who's always done a lot for me is Tim from Military Arms Channel. Mac has always had my back and helped me out, like when I was 300 subscribers. And the other person that's always done stuff is Eric and the rest of the crew from Iraq Veteran. When I met Eric, I think he told that story while he was here at the end of that video, that he said when he first met me, he was talking to me and he was kind of like surprised that I didn't have more subscribers. I had less than 1,000, maybe 700 or something. And he was like, I'm going to do something about that. And he got on Facebook and shared my YouTube thing. And like, it just started going up from there, So the thing that I want to tell you about that, you have to realize that what happened on this show is that Yankee Marshal went out there before, which you've all seen it, and said a bunch of shit about Eric. I mean, things that are like fighting words.
Yeah.
Names that you don't call another man unless you really, really never want to have a civil conversation ever again with that man. And yet Eric still came on this show with him.
Oh, Eric's a bigger man.
Yeah, and Eric didn't plan to surprise me and drop bombs or do anything like that. He came on the show and he was cool about everything. And I'm telling you that his numbers, if you took Mac, he's huge, and you took whatever Yankee Marshal has, which he's relatively big, and whatever little numbers I have, and you add those all up together and double it, you still don't reach the numbers that Eric has. So he was the bigger, better man. He came on and he carried himself well, and he's like an old school Southern gentleman, and you have to give some kind of leeway to that. Yankee Marshal on the flip side came on, planned to say something that was a button that if you push on black people, they react to it. And then he did it and refused to back off of that. I don't
want to keep going on this conversation because I don't want to. But I've kind of noticed around in the world of things and words that it seems like black people like to call black people that same thing.
Yes, I think so, and that's the reason why I took exception with it, because
there's never any outrage. That's what I.
Wait, did he drop an N-bomb? He didn't do that.
Well, no, not in that way. Although that was said, but
what? Oh my God, I gotta.
That's out of. But wait, that's out of context. The Yankee didn't.
Right. That wasn't.
Yeah, that's out of context. He said something else. He tried to make what he thinks is a literary reference. But the big thing about it, as Walter said, which I think is true, is that this is literally.
It's the same as the N-word amongst.
Yeah.
Friends.
Exactly.
And that's not right either. So.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Hold on a second. Talk amongst yourself for 1 second. Lola's got it handled. Okay. So the thing is that, I think that he planned to do that. He came in, he did it. He wanted to push buttons. He said in there that he wanted to say something so bad that when Colin Noir saw him at SHOT Show or NRA or something, he would punch him in the face. Well, I'm going to tell you that no matter what we say bad about Colin Noir, he's not that dude.
No, I don't think Colin Noir cares. Well, I'm sure.
I think he's better than that.
I don't think he's going to make a scene out of something so stupid.
Right. Yeah. Once again, you're just playing into Yankee Marshal.
You're feeding the troll. Everybody. I don't feel like everybody understands that he's what's his name, that is just a troll. You guys are. Everybody's just feeding him. And that's what he just keeps growing when you feed the troll.
Yeah. So you know what? I mean, that's that whole situation, right? That's how that situation went down from my point of view. Now, I think that took away from the conversation that we were really trying to have, unfortunately.
It's supposed to be a unifying kind of conversation, right? Where everybody.
Yes, it was symbolically unifying because we had these two guys come on and.
Well, clearly Yankee didn't want that.
Well,
I don't think he could resist the urge.
He couldn't help himself
to at least press one button.
Yeah,
Like people talk about Trump being president, they think he's gonna like launch all the nuclear missiles. I'm pretty sure if Yankee Marshal was president, he would launch I just have to launch one nuclear missile,
little one, just one little one.
Yeah, let me just see what happens with
just
this
a little tactical one. Yeah,
exactly. But I think overall, if we can get past that. I know that for some people, and especially the people who are offended, It's not that easy to get past all that. I think, honestly, the overall conversation is one that needs to be had. We need to get it out there. It's the reason why I created this platform. I have to tell you guys what I've said, and you guys already know this. I've been doing this for a long time. There's lots of people that refuse to give me their platform or any time on their platform to talk about things, and lots of stuff going on behind the scenes in the quote unquote gun community. Right. And so I started this so we could have some real conversations, and just so that the rest of the community knows what we're talking about and other people know what we're talking about, and these things get out there. I think ultimately that happened, even the bad stuff. It shows you that, you know, and I think it's unfortunate because I don't think the moniker that Yankee Marshal is going to get out of this is necessarily what he deserves, but he's the one who opened his mouth.
Right. Well, it's not the first time, and it won't be the last time. So.
Yeah. So he's the one that has to live with that.
But we have a very quick news cycle. Internet's just like the news cycle. So 24, 48 hours is like, what do you say? Mm-hmm. Next. I mean, I hate to say it, but everybody's on to the next subject. So
yeah. So I mean, yeah, some things people inside of the community are not gonna forget.
Well, I can tell you. I mean, I hate to say it, I still won't buy from certain companies after Sandy Hook from all the crap they did. So
yeah,
I don't. If somebody screws over the Second Amendment group as a whole, I mean, I think Yankee Marshal in the past has been funny, but it can take him or leave him.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I wish that when he came on, he didn't think ahead of time of doing stuff that was disruptive like that.
That's
if it happens naturally, okay, fine, but don't think ahead of time.
That's almost sociopathic. That you're like, oh my God, I have this trump card that I'm going to throw down, and it's going to piss everybody off.
What am I going to say tonight? Let's see.
Yeah.
You know, that's 5 minutes before I get on here. I don't know what the hell I'm going to say.
Nobody, normal people don't do shit like that.
I don't even have the time. 5 minutes before we start this, I'm like, what the hell are we going to talk about?
I didn't know what we were talking about until I read the headline and it said Remington. And then I didn't even know what was going on with Remington until I Googled it.